Not for broadcast. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Take control of the national nightly news as a radical government comes to power. In this immersive high-pressure propaganda sim, you control what the people see and determine what's not for broadcast. Now guys, this game is very early access, I have to say that. It runs fine, it plays great, I didn't come across any real problems with it, but all the features aren't in yet, and only about 1/3 of the content is in. So there's going to be 10 different kind of episodes to this. You get 3 in this actual early access package, but it's still worth it, which is why I'm doing a review on it. I will revisit this when it's finished. I can't wait to revisit this when it's finished because it's a bloody good game. I'm not surprised it's overwhelmingly positive on Steam. It's a breath of fresh air. It's something new. It's something different. It's something that will make you laugh and probably give you a little bit of an insight into what it's like to be an actual linear editor for these kind of studios, because this actual setup is very realistic. So the game actually starts with you as a cleaner, and you're in the editing room and the phone rings, you pick it up and it's the actual editor on the phone. He can't make it into work, so he begs you to take over, and he talks you through. This is the tutorial of the game, and I'll just quickly tell you what the actual editor is. If you're looking at your screen now, you can see in the top left you have 4 screens. These are your live feeds from the studio or on site, wherever there could be a reporter, or it could be just a still picture. These are the feeds that you actually have coming into your editor. Now the screen in the middle is what you were selecting for broadcast, because 2 seconds after you put it on that middle screen, it will be broadcast into the homes of all your viewers. That's what the screen is on the right. The right hand screen is the TV set of somebody at home. It's what they're seeing on their TV. That is what is actually being broadcast, and that is 2 seconds behind what's on your screen in the middle. Now the reason there's a 2-second delay is for bleeping out swear words, which I know a lot about. So just to recap that bit, you select the feed in the top left. The feed is then shown in the middle. That will then be broadcast 2 seconds later into the homes of everybody out there. Now, if somebody does swear, you have a censor button, which is the space bar, and you hold that down for the actual duration of the bleep. Now, the thing is, you have sound coming from the live feed in the center monitor, and you also have a 2-second delay sound coming out of the right feed, which is what's been broadcast. You have faders, which you can move up and down to set the volume, so you're going to have to get used to hearing the same thing said twice with a 2-second delay, and it's essential that you kind of learn that. It's an art to learn that. Now, bottom right, you will see A, B and C. They're your loaded adverts. You will have 3 adverts you load with VHS. This is set in the 80s, and when you need an ad break, you press A, B or C, and that will immediately cut from the live feed from wherever you were and roll an advert. Now that weird looking thing next to it, to the left, is the interference. That white dot has to be kept out of the green. Most of the times there's no green showing there, but now and then through different things going around that will interfere with the satellite signal, you will see these green shapes moving across, and you have to steer with your mouse wheel up and down the little white dot and keep it out of the green and into the black and the white. So you have to do that while you're also editing. Now, moving further left, these are your volumes that you can see there. Then there's your sensor thing. Now to the far bottom left, you have feeds 1, 2, and A and B. They are the actual buttons that you can control the feeds above it, which I mentioned earlier on. Now, as an editor, you shouldn't really be having the same feed on your screen for more than 10 seconds. If you do, you will start losing viewers, and that's what that graph bar is that's red, yellow and green at the top of your screen to the right of the actual time clock. So when you're editing, you have to kind of be on the person that's talking, get reactions obviously by cutting back if he's mentioning somebody that's in the studio and you want a reaction shot from them, but keep it off 10 seconds. You do not want it to run more than 10 seconds, so keep it interesting with your actual editing. I found this quite easy because I'm used to doing that from years ago. What I wasn't used to was catching reactions, simply because in the real world, when you're actually filming say a documentary or a pilot, you don't capture the reactions as they're given the reactions. You will film the camera on one person all the time as the interviewer is asking them questions. You don't go to the interviewer and then that. If you're only doing a one camera shoot, what you do is you film the person answering all the questions, and then you will film the presenter asking all the questions, and then you'll film what's called noddies, which are quite hilarious to film, because you just tell the presenter to give different reactions, like yes, and nod your head, and smile and nod your head, and look shocked, and you get all of these reaction shots, and then when you're back in your editor, you just cut in them in. It's cheating, but that's how TV works. But in this, you can't do that. You don't have that luxury. You have to do it live. So you've got to keep your eye on the 4 feeds at the top left, and you've got to keep your eye on which one you should be on. I keep getting muddled up with me buttons, because sometimes I'm trying to stop interference coming. I'm keeping an eye on me timer at the top to see how long's left on the segment. I'm trying to keep it interesting by cutting to the right person. But then all of a sudden you'll get an electric storm, and you'll get like power cuts coming in. Now, in between all of this, you also have a backstory with you going home and with your wife, and there's questions coming in, and you've got to answer them in a certain way that'll give you opportunities to buy into certain companies, invest your money. And that's when I talked about actually cheating by putting adverts that's relevant to your investments out to broadcast. But the best thing about this game is the acting. It's brilliant. The FMV for this, that's the video, is top draw. The newscaster is hilarious, and it's off-putting how good they are, because there was there was a guy we were interviewing. He didn't want to be there. He was screaming and shouting with his agent like 20 seconds before he's going live. I'm currently broadcasting the newsreader who's about to cut to this interview with this actor who's calling the presenter everything under the sun. But when it actually goes live, he's so nice. And how many times must that happen? Here's the clip. This is how he was with the presenter when it went live.
I'm very excited to be joined today by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my dear. I do hope you believe me when I tell you that being with you here today is among the greatest joys of my life.
May I say, having you here with us is among ours.
Bless you.
This was 10 seconds before it went live.
One beastly interview a day. I made that completely clear when we started. Check my contract.
Hi, I'm Megan.
Oh, piss off. You're on thin bloody ice, Rob.
I get to see all of this and hear all of this as the editor. I can put it on if I want. I mean, I can literally, if I wanted to, I could have cut to that and broadcast that if I wanted. It's hilarious. It really, you get to have these actors on, these young actors who were doing a play, and it was so damn funny.
Kids, I'm Gary the Fist. People think that folks like me probably shouldn't exist, but that's just prejudice, and I'd do better if you knew the way that I became Gary the Fist. I grew up on a council estate. The park was hip, but the flats weren't great. My dad used to come home drunk and late, and he'd hit my mum for dinner. He had to wait. Where's my dinner? Where's my dinner? Don't make me ask you again.
Hitting women is wrong. Hitting women is wrong.
I guess life's pretty hard on a council estate.
The really talented people that they've got in, it was so freaking funny. I had streakers running onto this ridiculous sports game that was just so funny, and I had to keep the streakers off, and I had to keep watching where the streakers were and not broadcast them, because I had to keep it PG, you know, parental guidance, you know, and you have all the power. The power is yours. You can ruin somebody's career if you want to. If you want to make them out to be the bastard, yeah, we can easily do that, you know. And it's great. It's great. You get fired, obviously, if you f*** up too much, especially if the viewing bar at the top goes well into the red and then pitters out, you will lose your job. But I can't wait, genuinely can't wait for the next episode of this, and I can't wait for the full actual game. It is definitely worth a buy. You might only have 2 or 3 hours with what you get so far, but it is something different, something new, something innovative. And the developers of this game have a really good game on their hands here, and I can't wait for them to finish it. There's a few things that I would like to see, and I've literally just read that they're going to do all the things that I wanted them to do. such as having fast forward and skipping when you go to the archives, because one of the good things about this is when you're cutting it all, you don't see what the final broadcast looked like. But when you've finished your day, you can go back to the archives and see your entire broadcast, what went out to the nation. And you can see your mistakes. You get graded on each segment as well, whether an A or down to a D or an F or something. So you can see exactly what you did. You can also get rushes, which is all the feeds, the live feeds, the unedited stuff. You can get access to all of them. If you missed what people were saying, you can watch all them back. But what it doesn't have is a fast forward and a skipping button, which it desperately needs. It's horrible that you have to sit through everything to get to a segment that you want, because when a live broadcast can take maybe 20-25 minutes. So we need that. We also need you to be able to select a level instead of having to start the whole game again. And also the tutorial, the guy, it's great the first time, but I don't want to hear him again. I want to be able to hang up. And these are the 3 features that the developers have said are coming pretty soon. So they've got the hand on the pulse, guys. They know what it's all about. They're listening to the feedback. It's going to be great, this game, when it's finished. I can't wait. So there you go, guys. Not for broadcast is definitely worth a buy.